Welcome back to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Ewell, and today we're going to be talking about the habit of painful growth. Last week, I just got back from Waco, Texas, by completing one of my 90-day challenges of going to a surf camp called BSR Surf Camp in Waco, Texas. And as fun as this was, I had an accident, and this accident had me split my eye open, my whole eyes. It looked like I got literally beat up, and to be honest with you, it felt like I got beat up. But this thing happened literally about an hour left of our entire. We rented out the surf park for a whole day. And during this day at like 4 o'clock, we had the park until 5, this happened. But it had been a long time since I was in a street fight. And I've had several opportunities of sparring and doing full contact fighting, also being in boxing matches, playing some football, all the way to college football. But I hadn't been in a street fight in a long time, or at least felt like I was. And I spent literally 2 days at this surf park getting my ass kicked by waves. And these are waves that were bigger and more powerful than any waves I've ever been on. Not to mention that I picked up a bad habit of trying to stand up on my board without keeping my hands down. But really, this trip got the best of me. It literally, I felt like I was in a washing machine every time I tried to get up on a wave, and would literally get spit out and knocked down. But as we approached the last day, some of the guys that I was with that were clearly had been doing it much longer, they started practicing this wedge. And a wedge is where, the water looks like a tube, and you basically ride through the tube. And you can literally see through the other side. But as guys started doing this, I'm like, I got this idea of hey, I'm going to actually try this. And I had tried it 3-4 times, and I'd gotten up actually easier than I got up on any other wave. But as I approached the wedge, I was kind of off-centered and just didn't make it in. I fell, and it was no big deal. But at least I rode some of the wave out. But the last time I tried this, I made it into the wedge. And I remember the kind of final thing I did was make this hand gesture, because there was a camera pointing to the other side. It was man, I'm in the wedge. I'm going to get my one shot that I'm looking for. And all of a sudden, my board comes out from under me, literally taken out. And this washing machine actually felt more like I was stuck in a tornado, and it spit me out. But all of a sudden, I, get knocked out. My board comes out from under me. All of a sudden, next thing I know, my board literally hits me in the face, and my chin hits the ground. And it felt like somebody literally hit me in between the eyes with a baseball bat. Immediately, I knew something was wrong, but I staggered to my feet, holding my head, and, I could just tell I did something. I could just tell the way that felt, that something happened. So I reached up, checked my hands, checked my face, checked my forehead. Next thing I know, I see blood literally dripping down, and it's not stopping. The guys I was with, came over to check on me, see what happened, make sure that I was okay. And, as I started to kind of walk up, man, I felt I was kind of out of it. Luckily, it hit me in the forehead. Luckily, it's the hardest place to be. I mean, it's one of the places that you can be hit pretty hard. And I think anywhere else, if it had been down an inch, it would have completely shattered my nose. If it would have been on top of my head, who knows what would have happened. So I feel fortunate enough to know that, hey, I hit the hardest part of my head. I also feel like probably anybody else would have got knocked out. But as I had the lifeguard check me out, he's like, hey, man, I would really go to the hospital. You're probably going to need some stitches, but I would go and just get checked out. So I went, arrived at urgent care, and my head was like pounding. I'm sitting there like, shit, do I need stitches? What the hell is my wife going to think? And I started to kind of replay what happened. You see, I surfed the wedge, which is, this is an expert wave. The majority of waves we surfed that day were expert waves. But I'm nowhere near an expert inside of surfing. I never had even really tried waves this size before. But I wanted a cool picture for my first surf trip to cap it off, after getting my ass kicked for literally 2 days. But I got something instead. I got some powerful lessons inside of this. And one of the powerful lessons I got is growth is painful. You see, if you want to be on the fast track to growth, you better be willing to get your ass kicked. And you better keep coming back for more. You better be willing to get back up and keep coming back for more. And literally, the way that I see this and how I was replaying this in my mind at the time was I got my ass kicked for 2 days straight surfing. I'll be honest, I didn't have a lot of fun. I was just kind of getting tossed around. I felt like, like I said, I was in this spin cycle on a washing machine for 2 days. But these waves were some of the biggest waves I've ever seen. I didn't quit, even though at times I was super frustrated. I was like, hell no, I don't want to get back up and do this again. But every time that I fell, and I could even think of, man, I fell 10 times more in 2 days than I had in 6 months of surfing. And I went from literally loving surfing to at times feeling like, dude, this sport sucks. I hate it. But it got me to a place where it really taught me it's never about the fall. It's about how fast we can get back up and go do it again. And here's what I find with most married entrepreneurs that I get to talk to today who are afraid to fail. They're afraid to fall. And when they do fall, they're even more afraid to get back up and do it again. They almost want someone else to help them up before they'll actually go do it again. So they'll just kind of lay there and wait for someone to come and save them. But growth hurts a lot worse laying down in that place, waiting for someone to come and save you, waiting for someone to help come get you off your feet. Because here's the thing. If you're laying down, you're sitting there being the victim. You're sitting there in this place of poor me. And maybe you've been knocked down recently. Maybe it's been in your fitness. And maybe your diets, you've tried so many diets before and you've just gotten off track. Or maybe you haven't been to the gym and going consistently. Or maybe you're doing both of those. You're just not seeing the results you want. Maybe it's inside of your marriage. Sex is, non-existent to almost not happening. Your communication is frustrating. Maybe it's your connection. Maybe you're not going on date night. But whatever it is, you feel like you got knocked down. Or maybe it's inside of your bank account and feeling this lack, feeling this fear of maybe not having enough. And we have Christmas coming up and maybe you're just living paycheck to paycheck. Or maybe part of this is you're just getting knocked down and you feel like you're playing small in life. But I want to encourage you today to get back up no matter what, no matter how painful it may be. You see, when I hit my head, it felt literally like somebody hit me in the head with a baseball bat. And quite honestly, I wanted to lay there for a minute. But the first thing I thought of is just get to your feet and just keep going. And not keep going in the sense of, going back out and surfing, but just to get up on my feet so I don't have to lay there and focus on the pain that I'm actually in. The other side of this is to not quit. You see, laying down a lot of times feels a lot like quitting. Laying down feels like you're giving up. and you're waiting for someone else to save you. But here's what I want to encourage you today. The only person that's going to save you, the only person that's going to get you back on your feet is you. And you have to begin to train yourself to do this every single time you get knocked down. Now, I like to use analogies in boxing, and of course, we have Rocky and stuff like that. It's like, hey, if you get knocked down, get back up on your feet, and it's easy to say, but what about when you take a major blow? What about when you take a major blow maybe to your head or your heart? The heart of maybe, someone hurting you. That's much worse than any blow you could take to the head. But I want to tell you this. The only person that's going to save you is you. The only growth that you're going to experience, even more growth, is a painful growth. See, this is a painful growth of, hey, I continue to get knocked down. I continue to feel like I'm failing, but I keep getting back up and I keep coming back for more. And I keep coming back for more because I'm resilient in what I actually want. You see, the entire place you're in, whether it's in your marriage, whether it's in your business, whether it's in your body, or inside of a challenge is the reason why you want to continue to challenge yourself is growth. All growth that you go through is going to be painful. Would you rather it be painful because you've chosen to grow, or would you rather it be painful because you chose to stay stuck? Because here's what I know. There is much more pain in staying stuck than there is in actually growing. So I want you to ask yourself a question today. Where am I avoiding growth? Where am I avoiding pain? And the reality of it is this. The pain of staying the same is much worse than the pain of growing. The pain of staying the same and remaining the same is much worse than the pain of growing. And so the next time you feel like you're avoiding pain, you're actually avoiding growth, and you're actually going to feel more pain in staying the same. And this is where a lot of times playing small takes place. Is we begin to play small so we don't have to feel the pain, yet the pain of playing small is way worse than the pain of growth. So the next time you feel this way, work through it. Get back on your feet and just say, hey man, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to continue to move forward no matter what. So I want to encourage you to realize that all growth is painful. It's the pain that we choose to grow with, or the pain we choose to remain the same with. But I want to encourage you to use the pain for growth, not to stay the same. And if you guys are looking to connect further with a group of like-minded people, join myself and so many others in the Habit-Based Lifestyle Secrets group on Facebook, where I will be dropping daily habits to help you live to your full potential. Maybe you want to be one of our next case studies and begin living this habit-based lifestyle. You may have questions, comments, or requests. Feel free to reach out to me, Jesse@habitbasedlifestyle.com. Until next episode, have a great day.